What's going on, guys? It is Chris, and today I am doing a little bit of a different video. As you guys can tell, if you guys follow me on Instagram, I've been doing a lot of photography lately. I thoroughly enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun. You guys probably haven't seen my Zoom H1 recorder video. So this is basically going to be a mix of me showing you my process going through Lightroom and how easy and accessible Lightroom is and how user-friendly Lightroom is for anybody to use. And also, this is pretty much a mic recording test for my future videos. And I told you guys I might do a test. So basically, it's just a mix. So I'm using my H1 recorder right now, using the QuickTime recorder on my computer so you guys can see me moving and stuff. So it might be a little bit slow, but that's only because the recorder in this isn't really like a good recorder for the screen, but whatever. So basically, I'm just gonna go through. I'm not giving you a tutorial on how to use it really. I'm kind of just showing you like little tips and things you should know getting into Lightroom. I just got into Lightroom. I've edited 5 pictures so far. That is it. And it is super easy. There's stuff I'm still learning, but this is really for the basics. From a person that's an amateur at Lightroom, I'm basically explaining to a person that's never used it. So I'm in the same boat probably as you are, getting to know this program or not even, very interested in using the program. So first I'm going to show you is that you go to the library. That's the first thing you do, is you go to your library. All right, so you go to your library. It's very easy. You just click import. As this all pops up, mine's on Tucci Drive. That's my drive. You go to the folder. You go to your folder, the correct folder, not the bad folder. So mine is in Skyline Shoot Suns Meet. Pretty self-explanatory. And what you do is you can unclick it, you can check all, you can uncheck. But basically what you do is you just check them, whatever, and you click import. I already imported them, so I'm not going to import the 57 photos I took. So that's basically all you have to do to import them. Super easy. After you import them, they will show up on this bar right on the bottom. Then you go to develop. So library is basically sorting your pictures and trying to find out which pictures you really want to work on, which ones you want to edit, and stuff like that. So today we have a photo that I've gone through a couple photos so far. I've worked on a couple photos. This photo I edited yesterday. It's a pretty nice photo. I mean, the photo itself was very nice, believe it or not. I learned a lot yesterday about using shutter speed at night. So I got these pictures. It was pretty dark. The lighting was crap. And I got a solid picture of it, which is nice. But that's totally besides the point. That's not really the point of this video. So basically, I'm going to scroll over. I think I'm going to work on this photo right here. This is a Mustang, a SN95 Crowd Eater, I think his name is, or Crowd something. Follow his Instagram. I'll put his Instagram in the description. But basically what I do is, the first thing I do is that it says up here all the specs that you shot this photo in, which is actually really cool. So I shot it at 100 ISO, which is super dark. I put it at 76 millimeters. This is an STM lens. It's a kit lens, so it's not a very crazy lens. The aperture was at 10. So I was trying to really capture most of the car being at the front of the car. Would have been pretty clear compared to the back of the car if I shot it at a lower aperture. So I put it at around 10 so I can get a clear shot of the whole car. And then I shot it at 20 seconds, the shutter speed. This is the first time I've ever done this. So the first thing I do really is I check the color temperature. Now the color temperature right now, it actually tells me what the color temperature was, and it was at 3600. 3600 is more for lighter. It's more for like inside. Outside is more towards maybe like 5600 Kelvin. That's supposed to be at. But this picture's a little bit cooler. It was kind of the lights were red, so I figured I would. They weren't red, but they weren't very bright. The color temperature was very hot, very warm. So I kept the temperature a little up to try to balance that out. But I'll go right through. I'll just check. So basically that's the color temperature at 2000, and that's all the way maxed out. So I'm going to try. Normally I look for like a happy medium. that it doesn't look too cold. Like that to me kind of looks a little bit too cold. I mean, the blue looks fantastic, but I think that's a little bit too cold too. All right, that's probably where I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it right around there. And this is a tint, so it's green. And I don't know what that exact color is, to be totally honest. I'm gonna guess magenta, but so this is really, you know, I don't really want to make it too red, but I kind of want this area right here. The concrete is a weird color when it's green like that. So I boosted it up, maybe about to 6, just to get some of this green off. So now exposure. This is pretty easy. If you have a Mac, you can also use a plus and minuses to go up 0.10. The keys. So I'm going to try to use that. I kind of think that this picture really isn't that bright, honestly. I think I might just, I'll probably put up to about 0.10. We'll go with contrast. This is just, the problem is I don't really know the technical terminology, but I'm pretty sure that's the difference between each color, so light and dark. The contrast was pretty good in this photo. I'm gonna go for a little bit darker on photo, maybe bump up the exposure on this. I'll bump it up to 0.20 and I'll keep this around there. So then we go to highlights. I normally go to highlights. This for some reason I always do this. I always go all the way up and all the way down on the things that I use just to see like what the max potential would be. And I would find my happy medium if the bottom is good. But I kind of like it without being there. It's kind of nice at negative 100. But it kind of gives these circles a really weird edge. So I'll probably back that down a little bit. I'll probably sit at... I'll go at negative 70. That kind of gives it a good look. So yeah, the blue is just ridiculous back here. I'm going to have to fix it up here. But let's go with shadows. So just checking all the shadows. See if you want to push us to see, like, the light was obviously beaming in this direction. It was coming from here and going down to here. So you could tell there's shadows here. So these rims are pretty dark. So what I could do is I can bump up that shadow and I could take away, you know, that darkness in both the rims, which we can also do with the brush tool, but I'm gonna put it at a happy medium so I can at least fool around with it, get rid of that shadow. So I'll keep it at maybe plus 11. That looks pretty good. Now we'll go to the whites. The whites are very, very, very bright. I'm gonna keep it at negative 100. I'm not really a bright. I don't really like that overexposure look. It aggravates me. So I'm gonna keep it probably around there. Let's go with, these are the blacks. So all the blacks get really, really dark. All the blacks get really, really light. So we're going to take some of the blacks and we're going to put it down, and I'll bump up the exposure one. And you just gotta fool around because you can darken something and then expose it a little more to give it that look. So it's not really dark, but you can make the blacks blacker as you make the whole screen brighter. It's kind of weird. Clarity is basically, here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to zoom in on something. Let's zoom in on this license plate. You know what? I'm not going to do that. All right. So we're going to zoom in right on the pony symbol. And basically what clarity is going to do is it's going to make it as crisp as possible to the actual features of the shot. So you could tell that the clarity is ridiculous. You can tell the little lines. That's not right. So you can see like the lines here. Like let's get some clarity. Let's go maybe let's get back here. So you see this back half, you can kind of tell. I mean, it's a little bit blurry because it's not really the resolution that it's supposed to be, being that it is zoomed in. But when you boost up the clarity, you can tell all the different little features from the camera that you don't normally get. Like you can actually see like there's kind of dirt. I don't know if it's dirt, but there's a glare or scratches or whatever. You can really, really tell that from here. So you kind of, sometimes you don't want that. So I usually keep it around maybe in the 30s to the 50s somewhere. I think that looks pretty good. I think that looks pretty clear. It gets the necessary features that I'm looking for. I'm not really looking for anything crazy, but then we can go for a vibrance. So this is realistically the color. If you want to boost up the color like ridiculous, you can. I don't really do that much. It really depends on the shot, but that looks pretty nice. I kind of have to go up here, and I think I need to change the color temperature a little bit further down, because I'm really trying to keep the ground a steady color. I'm trying to keep the ground at a certain color, which realistically I can brush over, but I don't really want to do that. But let's boost this down a little bit more. And then saturation, just how much of the color you really want to pop. You want to get all the color features out there. I think the blue in this car is beautiful. I think the blue is a gorgeous color on this car, so I'm going to keep it a little bit higher, keep some of that blue popping out. This is basically just a curve. Instead of doing what we just did, you can curve everything to make it a little more precise, but I'm not really looking for precise, to be honest. Then we can go in saturation, hue, luminance, and all. I kind of keep it in saturation. Doesn't really matter, but basically what this is I can change all the reds to orange. So like all the reds, or see like how that's pink, and now if I bring that red all the way over, it's orange. That's kind of a cool thing. I didn't actually notice that, to be honest. But maybe we'll keep the reds, because that red actually looks really, really nice in here. Another thing is I was at a meet too, so there's a lot of bodies. You could tell that with my shutter speed at 20 seconds. It takes 20 seconds of light to show, so all of this movement was captured. So you can kind of tell that the only thing that is still really is the car. So when you're using high shutter speeds like that, you should do a still with nothing around you, like people or moving bodies or anything. But basically what I'm going to do now is I see that there's a lot of green on the ground. So all of that green literally just disappeared. So what I did was I took this green. You could tell the floor. You could see how green and gross and disgusting it is. I hate it. So I'm going to take it all the way down. And now it looks like a basic concrete floor. It takes away all that unnecessary color on the floor. It actually looks like a road or a parking lot. These are all the blues. You can clearly tell that this is overwhelmingly blue. So you can see in the background here that everything just got really, really blue. And then when I take away from the blue, the red stands out super well. The orange stands out. The faces and some of the skin tones stand out, but the car, and this stands out, but the car is gray. So I'm going to keep the blues. I think the blue looks fantastic. Honestly, I'm going to bump it up a little bit just to get some of the blues back. I might go in the sky with a brush tool and get rid of some of this stuff. I don't really know yet. We could check around, but basically, we can go around here. We could check the purples and stuff. We don't really need purple, so I'll keep that down. Magenta, I'm looking for all the magentas. Put those all the way down. I don't really care about any other color but the blue. So see how that red really stands out. All right, so this is this is faster than I normally would do it, but I think it looks fine. Enable profile corrections. So this is actually really cool. Your lens takes a certain type of picture, and each lens has a certain configuration to make a regular picture. So what it is you can actually pick your model lens and your program profile, and what you could do is you can adjust that in here. So you could see how it's popping out. That's kind of like deep. It's like making it like a deeper sort of fisheye, I guess, if you would say that. So I always turn that on. I kind of like the effect. I don't really necessarily know what the difference is, but then you could fool around here. You could do like vignettes, which I don't ever mess around with. You can go down here to grain, so you can grain it, which I hate grainy photos, so I never play with that either. I don't know why you would, but people do. And then you can dehaze, which really isn't a big deal. And then this is where, so basically all this part is done. All of the basic coloring is done. You can obviously go in here, you can mess around with the darks and the lights and stuff, but that's basically how I would color it. Nothing crazy, but now what we're going to do is we're going to play around with the brush tool. Now the brush tool becomes pretty much your best friend. Alright, there we go. My brush tool was being a pain in the ass for some reason. I don't know why, but basically what the brush tool does is it gives you the ability to pretty much pinpoint where you want to put or adjust certain areas. So basically this black is kind of a little bit dark for, you know, what I like. So what I do is you could easily just use the scroll. You could scroll up and down. You can make it bigger, smaller. You can feather it. You could do all different types of stuff. You could do more noise. You could do sharpness, size, whatever. You can't do color though, which is kind of weird. But it is kind of weird. I don't know why you can't do that, but at least maybe I just have not found it. But basically what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to outline the rim. You could see the red there, not the red. You could see the exposure that I'm drawing in right now. You could tell that I'm drawing in extra exposure on the wheel. It's very overexposed right now because it's just easier for me to see, but I can always change that after I finish pretty much aligning this out. But basically what I'm doing is just coloring in where I'd want to, you know, change color. So this is very easy concept, just coloring it in, and now we'll go back and I'll show you what it looks like. So that is exposed a lot. That is very, very exposed. I don't want it to be exposed that much because the rim looks silver, not black. So I can go back here, click on my tool, and this is where it's colored in. That little red mark thing there that we just saw is what's colored in. So basically what I'm doing is I'm adjusting the circle that I made. So I don't really want it to be too dark, but I don't want to be too bright. So I'm going to bump it up maybe to, well, we can go very, very dark, or we can go light. I'm going to bump it up so you can actually see the definition of the wheel. I'm going to put it at 0.28. I'm going to go with 0.28. I think that's good enough. We can also take, we could put more shadow on it, we can put more highlights on it, or if I want, it's just to take the shadow off of it, I could just do that. Realistically, I'm taking the shadow off without taking the shadow off the whole photo. I'm taking shadow just off the rim, or whatever I drew. So I'm going to put the shadow, up a little bit. I'm going to put the shadow probably at 9. The blacks, I'm going to keep black. So maybe I'll set that at like -2. For some reason, I really like the clarity of the rims to be high. So I'll probably go to, the photo's already at 50. I'm going to bump it to 40. So it's technically like 90 realistically if you want to add in that. But you can clearly tell a difference between the front and the back rim now, which I really, really like. It looks really good. You can tell the definition of the rim. It's light enough that you could see it. It's light enough that you can figure out the figure, which this you can, but the front of the rim compared to the back part of the rim that's back here, this is a lot darker than the front, which I like. You can tell you could see the barrel of the rim from the angle that you're on. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go back to my tool here. I'm going to check. It's probably good to write this down when you do it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to come here. This is my exposure number, my blacks, my temperature, my clarity. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to color this in again. I'm going to color in the front. and I'm actually coloring in right now the color that I want it to be. So what I'm doing is there's two ways to do it. There's either A, you link it to the one you already did and you keep it like that, or B, you make a separate one so you could change it according to, you know, the light. So just say the front of the car is very, very dark and the back of the car is very, very light. If you take the light and you decide to darken it up, you can't see how it's going to be two wheels. It's not going to show us now. So you can link these two together. So basically, see how the red is like that? Those are what we did. So you can make them two separate, being that if the front is a little darker than the back, you want to make the back lighter, and you want to make the front, you know, lighter or darker, or whatever. You can adjust them separately to make them even out the colors. But this one, the lighting is kind of set on the car, so I don't really have to worry about doing that. I can join them together. So they are joint right now completely. So as you can tell, like I said, those are both the wheels. They're both colored in. That kind of went over a little bit. I don't really care much, but you can always erase it. There's an eraser tool down here. You can go to town, you can erase. We'll erase it just because I'm here anyway. But you can erase, you know, what you did. I'm around here just to keep it on the rim. So I erased a little bit, not much. I don't really worry about it. I try to do it as precise as possible the first time so I don't have to bother erasing. But that's pretty much it. That's basically the steps that I go to. I'll probably fool around a little more with this. Maybe to get the reds a certain color, the blues a certain color. Maybe up here I'll try to make it the same blue as back here. But that's pretty much it. I will show you how I export it. So we go to File, Export. I'm on a Mac, so it might be a little bit different. I do a specific folder. Just a lot easier. I go to my hard drive, and I already have a folder for Mustangs, random Mustangs, but you know, you go to your folder, whatever, you click which folder you want, choose, done. Another awesome part about this is that I could also, wow, I just noticed the quality was on 60. That sucks. So you can go to your watermark, you can put in your watermark. I have a watermark. I like it. I mean, it's kind of simple, but I made it myself. I take pride in it. So what we do is we'll go over to File. We will scroll down. We'll go to Drive, Random Mustangs, and this I'm pretty sure is a Mustang I just did. And that's what the photo comes out to. It looks pretty good. I kind of like it. I mean, the photo itself probably wasn't that good in the first place, but that's what the photo looks like. It's a little blurry right now because it's trying to pick up the resolution while it's recording. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There's also cropping as well before I leave. You can also crop it. Very, very easy. I probably crop all mine. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys, you know, learned a little bit from this. I'm very new to it, just like you guys might be new to it if you even have the program. Definitely get the program. Do a Creative Cloud. It's $20 a month as a student. It's $50 if you're not a student. But if you are currently a student, it's $20 a month. You get all of these programs updated whenever they're updated. You get the whole package for one price a month, which is very, very nice. I definitely think this program is worth buying. Definitely need it if you want to do any photography or videography. You definitely need the Adobe products. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.